weekend. Kind of nice to have a break, but I don't know if your Monday was anything like mine. It's just like, oh, right, we have to keep doing this. So a little bit of the give and take of that. For December, in the hub, the mantra that I chose is sit, stay, heal. This reminder to be present, that we're still moving through a pandemic, and to do the things that are going to help you day to day to heal and stay well. The sequence focus is Yoga Hour Sequence 2. And there's a ton of balance poses in the sequence. It's a more steady, just like pose by pose. There's less of a flow to this sequence, I think, than what we experienced last month. And I had a purpose for that as well, just like go pose by pose, and focus where you are on the mat. We're going to start in child's pose. Take the knees a little bit apart, big toes together, fold over, and reach your arms out in front. I'm so glad you're here this morning. Welcome yourself to the practice, to your space. Take a few breaths in here. And then from child's pose, go right into downward facing dog. Walk the feet out far enough behind you that it feels a little bit long. And then pedal your feet. Shake your head. So get in some movement to this downward facing dog. Now take your feet as wide as your sticky mat, so a little wider than we typically do. Lift up onto your tiptoes, lift the heels high into the air, and then bend your knees down towards the line of the ankles, but still try to keep your seat lifted. So in doing that, press your hands down and forward and squeeze the tips of your shoulder blades more towards each other onto your back. That is your foundation for strength. Keep the length, straighten the legs, and send your heels back down towards the ground. Look forward in between your hands and step the right foot up into your lunge. First big step, take your time, get into your full stride. Cat back, round your back and look down your left leg. As you look at your left leg, lift your thigh high enough that you can see all the way back to your inner heel. And then keeping that lift and strength, lower the front knee deeper, front thigh deeper, and look forward, lengthen the spine. Take the right hand up to the sky, so you have a twist here. And then take the right hand to the inside of your right foot. You can heel toe the right foot out so you have some space. Spin the back heel down, down dog lunge. We're all pretty familiar with this one by now. Walk your hands out. So you're trying to form that down dog shape again from the hands towards the hips. But more like warrior two right now in the feet. So 2 flat feet, press down and out through your legs. Get low in the hip. Then walk your hands back in. Find your way to down dog. And then switch sides. Step your left foot all the way through to your low lunge. breath there. Back leg high enough, straight enough that it can feel its strength. And then take the left hand up. And bring the left hand to the inside of your foot. Spin the back heel down, down dog lunge. Walk the hands towards the right corner of the mat. If you walk the hands further to your right, it might create a little more ease in the posture. Everyone keep the front knee broad, closer to the pinky toe side of your foot. Try not to let the knee fall in. And then again, walk your hands back, pick up the back heel and step back to plank. In plank pose, it's the top of our push-up. Bring your heels all the way together so you can squeeze in. Squeeze your butt, lengthen the tailbone, tone your belly, look a little forward. As always, plank pose can be done on our toes or the knees. Find the position that feels strongest for you. Stay with it. Let's do a little countdown for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then lie flat down onto the mat. Interlace the hands behind you. Lift everything up. Lift, lift, lift. Exhale, lower down. Press back to child's pose. Walk your hands a little bit to the right so you get some good stretch and length from the left hand. Left side of the torso back towards the left hip. And then walk the hands across the center over to the second side. Get a good stretch from the right hand, right side of the waist, all the way back to the hip. And then bring it back to your middle. Come up to all fours. Plank pose, again, come up to the toes or stay on the knees. Halfway lower down and hold, chaturanga. And then push all the way back up to the top. We're gonna do this 4 more times. It can be toes or knees, halfway and push. So it becomes just a good old push-up, more like a tricep push-up. Hold the elbows into the side, and we're going for 5 total here. Hover shoulders no lower than the line of the elbows as you go down and up. And after you've done 5, stretch back into downward facing dog. Stay there in downward facing dog. One more breath. And then walk to the center of your mat. So walk your feet a little forward, your hands a little back until you're in the center of your mat. And a bent knee forward fold. Keep all 10 fingers on the ground, so bend the knees so that you can keep the fingers on the ground. Then, keeping hands down, make the legs as straight as they'll go from there. Lift through the back side of the body, underneath the calves, the hamstrings. Let the upper body round over and release here. One more breath like that. And then change, hands to the hips, point the elbows up to the sky, press down into the feet and come all the way up to standing. Great, so from where we are on the mat, I like to keep my feet about hip distance apart. So we have just a little bit more room. Reach your arms up to the sky. Chair pose. Bend the knees, sit into your thighs. We can call this power pose as well. Look straight ahead or even a little up to the fingertips. And then take the palms into prayer. And twist. Take your left elbow towards the right side. You can stay lifted or elbow all the way to the outside of the right knee, much more forward and over. Try to push the top palm into the bottom palm so that the right elbow points straight up to the sky. And then unwind, stand all the way back up, arms to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees, sit into the thighs, Utkatasana again. Palms together. And twist in the second direction, right elbow towards the left. Stay high or take it lower down, elbow to the outside of the thigh. Few breaths in. Untwist, stand up, arms again overhead. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees to touch the fingers down to the ground. Let the head hang. Make the legs as straight as they'll go, keeping all 10 fingers on the ground. Steady 2 feet on the ground here, all 10 fingers. Enjoy the connection. And then again, hands to the hips, point the elbows to the sky, press down into the feet and come all the way upright. From here, I want you to take the hands behind your back and interlace, and then squeeze your elbows towards each other. Try to clamp the base of your palm in, and then stretch the arms straighter back behind you. If you know that's the limit of your shoulders, keep the hands at the hips or unclasp the hands. If you can, keep them all together. Let's add chair pose to it. Bend the knees, sit into your thighs, and add the forward fold. Head towards your knees here, arms up to the sky. The head of your shoulder wants to round down and forward. Do your best to keep lifting your hands higher to also turn the head of the shoulder more up. Again, just one steady pose at a time. And then come all the way back up to standing. Release the arms. Again, lift the arms up to the sky. Take the arms straight ahead of you, parallel to each other. Lift up onto your toes. So here's a strong balance pose to get us started in. Squeeze the inner thighs, outer hips in towards each other. Keeping as much of this as you can, the releve in your feet, the lift of the heels, bend your knees and go back into chair pose. And then go lower, 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 lower until your butt is right over your heels or somewhere close to it. And let yourself sit down onto your yoga mat. Healthy hips, there's a lot to that. Lift your knees, lift your feet up so you're in boat pose. And we're gonna go right into our cosmic abs. Start to pedal your arms and your legs. One way, and then switch over to the other side. For a good deal of balance, a little extra core work as you go from side to side. Try to get all the way over just on one hip. Switch back. And then from the center, boat pose. Set both feet down onto your mat. Take your hands back behind you. Turn the fingers out towards either side. Think table here and lift your hips up. So your arms and legs make the legs of the table. Tuck your chin in and look down your belly. Squeeze your butt like crazy here. And let your belly rise and fall with the breath. Sticking with this or more challenge, pull the right knee into the chest. Try sticking the right leg up to the sky. As soon as it goes up, it comes right back down. And then pull the left knee in. Straighten the left leg to the sky. Pull it back in and sit it down. Lower your hips and lie all the way down onto your back. Sit on your hands, legs straight up into the air. Glue the feet to one another here and lower the legs towards the ground. Keep the legs straight. And these leg raises go maybe a foot above the ground and then all the way back up, feet right over the line of the hips. And keep going like this. Don't take it too fast. That just makes things a little too easy. We're looking to stay long in the breath, present through each bit of it. Legs go up, legs go down. Keep going for about just 10 more seconds. And we used our balance and control to get down onto the mat. Here, pull your knees into the chest. Think same thing, but in reverse. We're gonna rock and roll ourselves all the way up to standing, if you can. Try it without the use of the hands. Come all the way back up to standing, all the way back up to releve, heels off of the ground. Find a steady point, gaze at it right in front of you. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your heels down, your arms. Give everything a little bit of a shake. That'll wake us up in the morning, right? Step up to the front end of your yoga mat. Still feet about hip distance apart. Stretch the arms to the sky. Interlace the fingers and send your thumb and first finger back up. Crescent stretch. Take the arms towards the right and push your hips a little to the left. And then come back into the center. Keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back into a long lunge. High lunge, hips, shoulders right over top of one another. And then add the crescent again. Lean towards the right. Little balance. Gently press the hips towards the left. And then come back into your center. Arms stay overhead the entire time. Step up. Take the crescent to the lean to the second side. Lean to the left. Even if it's just a smidgen, push the hips towards the right to counterbalance. Squeeze in the glutes. Press down to your heels. And then come back to your center. Left foot is forward. Step the right foot back. Feet about hip distance apart here, and add the crescent. Take the hands to the left, and it's just a little push of the hips to the right. It might not change even the outward picture. You'll feel it within. And then back into the center. Step all the way up. Good news, the arms get to go down. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to plank position. Squeeze the heels in, squeeze the glutes. Lengthen the tailbone, tone the belly, look a little forward. So just every time you find plank pose, think from the feet, zip tight all the way up to the head. And let's lower flat down against the mat. Stretch the arms out in front of you, so superhero pose. Legs back, arms forward, just as long as we can be. Inhale, lift everything up. Start to squeeze the feet in and the hands closer to one another. They can clasp together, palms press in, cross at the thumbs perhaps. And lower it down. Take the hands under the shoulders, low push-up. Can you lift your thighs? Can you hover right above? And then push all the way up and back to downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward to low lunge. Spin the back heel down, both hands to the inside. Pause there or add the clasp of your hands behind your back. We did that standing earlier. Try it again here. Head down, arms to the sky for no-handed lunge. Squeeze your front shoulder, your right shoulder close to the right thigh. Release the hands on either side of your front foot. Let's step forward here. Step the left foot forward and step your right foot back to switch sides. Spin the back heel down. Again, hands to the inside. Pause and stay there. Or take the interlace of the hands. Second favorite finger in front for that clasp now. Head down, arms up. Press down and out through both feet, so get some weight into the back leg. Don't let it all sink into the front. And release the hands either side of the front foot. Again, step forward, both feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, stand up, reach the arms overhead. And bring the palms together, center of the chest. Take a few breaths in. Each exhale, completely release. Okay, arms down, little shake out. Let's come to use the length of our mat. Take a wide stance. Point your toes straight ahead. Your heels straight back. Extend the arms out in either direction and turn the right toes out. As you gaze out over the right fingertips, bend your right knee a lot for warrior two. So knee right over the line of our ankle. You can pulse a little bit up and back here until you find your depth for this side. The legs stay exactly the same. Change elbow to your knee, top arm overhead, extended side angle pose. And then turn to look down at the floor. Extend both arms out. So stronger in the core here. And can you lower your right hand down to the ground? Top arm back up to the sky, and try straightening the front leg a little bit for triangle pose. I've walked my back leg in a little bit so that I have a slightly shorter stance to make this more doable. Focus on keeping the shoulders and the chest open, but the bottom leg might still have a little bend in it. It's fine. And then walk back up, elbow to the knee, top arm again, palm down overhead. Give the length back to the back leg if it had walked in. And change to warrior two, lift the torso upright. Nicely done. Let's give it a go on the second side. Straighten the leg, switch on over. Bend the left knee a lot. Stay right with warrior two. Don't get ahead quite yet. Sit right here. And then we go elbow to the knee, top arm, palm down overhead for extended side angle. From here, I'm asking you to get a little stronger in the belly. Turn the torso down. You don't get to rely on that bottom hand. Stretch it out. And then take the left hand down to the inside of the leg. Again, maybe a little shorter stride. Heel toe the back foot in a bit. And change to triangle pose. Take the top arm up to the sky and make the bottom leg a little bit straighter. Nice work, stay with it. Breathe here. Rebend the bottom leg a lot. Pop the elbow up to the knee. And then warrior two, lift the torso. Straighten the left leg, turn the toes parallel to one another. Wide-legged forward fold, touch down. Your hands can stay in front of the line of your feet for most ease. Start to walk the hands further back towards the line of the feet as your flexibility allows. There can be a bend, of course, behind the knees. Just try to take it even on both sides. And then change again, hands to the hips, point the elbows to the sky. Press down into the feet and come all the way up. Heel toe the heel, feet all the way in. Give it a little shake. Okay, here's where things start to get really interesting with the balance. Come all the way back up to the front top of your mat. Chair pose, take the arms up, bend the knees. What I love about this balance sequence is that it does build on a lot of the poses that we've already done. So starting here from our chair pose, lower the right hand down to the floor. Keep your weight on the right hand, right foot, and swing your left foot back behind you and up into the sky for half moon pose. Left hand can go out in front, stay on your hip, or lift the hand up to the sky, half moon. Step the left foot right back down to the mat and go back to your chair pose. Stand all the way up and take the hands straight out in front of you. Pull the left knee up into your chest. For today, loop your arms under your left thigh and try to kick your left leg as straight as you can. Take your hands back up to the sky and kick your leg behind you instead of in front of you. Hinge at your hips for warrior three. And stand on 2 feet. Give it a little shake. For the second side, arms back up towards the sky, bend the knees, chair pose. And then we lower our arms more towards parallel to the floor. Hinge lower until the left fingertips can find the ground. Change your weight over towards left foot, left arm, and right into half moon pose. Lift the right side of the body up towards the sky. Start to turn the torso to the side. Stay steady and calm in your breath to help the body do the same in the pose. And then bring it all back down, 2 feet to the ground, back to chair pose. This time as you stand up, arms can be parallel, straight out in front, and pick the right knee up into the chest. Loop the arms under the right thigh. Might be able to pick the leg up a little higher that way and extend the leg as straight as you can. Hands stay right there, helping hand, or try it with the arms up to the sky. See how the leg changes height. And then give it a kick to the back, hinge at the hips, go for a T shape here in warrior three. Press down through your big toe as much as the rest of your foot on that standing leg. 2 feet to the ground, stand up and shake it out. We continue on, back to chair pose, arms to the sky. Again, bend the knees. I'm going to take the hands to the hips for a moment so they're somewhat out of the equation, and try crossing your right ankle over the left thigh. Point the knee more out to the side and sit lower in the legs. Can you take your hands and hold on to the foot and knee? And then stand up, pick up your leg. Woo. Yeah, nicely done. Keep holding like that, or more challenging, take the forearms under the lower leg. More challenging still, take the hook of your elbows around the foot and the knee. Stand up as tall as you can in whichever position you have chosen. Slowly, carefully come back down, 2 feet to the ground. This is our standing pigeon pose. We're gonna give it a go. Second side starts through chair pose. So think low in the thighs, sit way back in the seat. Then take the hands down and cross the opposite leg on top. Point the knee more out to the side, a figure 4 shape. This is lots of great work in the hips. You might choose this bus stop right here. Use your hands, hold on to something, whatever works. I'm falling all over the place. Hold on to your leg and lift up. And again, you've got the hold of knee and foot, or go for the hook. You might notice one side works a little more than the other side. Push through your big toe, pull back on the pinky toe of the lifted leg. And slowly get on out of this. 2 feet to the ground. Shake it out. Okay, friends, just in case that one wasn't enough, we're gonna recreate the legs, but we're gonna stay down and forward and fly while we're there. Come back up towards the front of your mat, but leave just a little room out in front of you to put your hands on the ground. Start with the arms to the sky and do chair pose again. And our thought here is that we get to take a look at this pose throughout the month. So check in, how does it work? First attempt today. Cross the right ankle over the left leg again. Remember, we took hold of the knee and foot. We're gonna deepen the fold of the torso and go further. Try to take your hands down to the yoga mat. And that is a big deal, getting your hands all the way down, getting your body folded enough to get the hands down. Taking in the starting point, you might realize hands underneath blocks will be supportive throughout getting into the hips a little deeper this month. If you can place the hands flat on the ground here, I want you to keep folding in the shape of the body until your right foot can hook around your upper left arm. So left foot hooked around the upper left arm bone. Crane pose, Bakasana, we did a lot last month. You try to lean forward and kick your left heel towards your butt. And it can be this little swing, even for a second, to find the balance. That is the float. And then we have to get out of this position, healthy hips. They've got to get us up as much as they get us down. Lift the torso, extend the arms, chair pose like you've been there the whole time. And then stand back up. Release the arms. A little nuts, right? We're gonna try the second side. See what happens. Lift the arms back, bend the knees, sit into the thighs. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh and sit low again. You want to press your seat as far back as possible, especially as you bend the bottom knee more. Hands down to the ground. And I play once I get down there, just kind of scoot around. Like, how am I going to get the hook of the left foot around the outer right shoulder? Some days it's just, nope, not going to happen. Other days it just takes a little bit of extra squishing around. Super technical. Until our left knee can rest on the left upper arm bone, and you're trying to play with a little swing and balance, maybe getting the right heel to come off of the ground, the right toes off of the ground. And then walk yourself back up. Figure 4, chair pose, stand up. Top of the mat, exhale, forward fold. And step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Place your weight onto the right hand, the outer edge of the right foot. Stack your feet or keep the left foot stepped forward. Side plank, lift the left arm to the sky. Set the left hand down, spin to the second side, outer edge of the left foot, stack the feet, take the right arm high. Go back to full plank, 2 hands on the ground, stay on toes or knees. Lower flat down to your mat. Cobra, press down through the hands, top of the feet, lift the chest. Child's pose, press your hips back to the heels. Bring your torso upright, so you're sitting flat back on the heels, and take a little twist over your right shoulder. And then take a twist and look over your left shoulder. As you come back to the center, extend your legs straight out in front of you. Take the hands behind you. Remember that table pose that we did at the beginning? We're going to try to do that with our legs straight. Push down into your hands and your feet. Lift your hips a little bit. If that works, keep wrenching up higher, Squeeze your butt so it's like an upside down plank pose. You're doing all the same work. You can even still look down the body, look at your belly. And then lower the hips. Scooch to lie all the way down on your back, a very well-deserved squeeze in, pull the knees into the chest. So December 1st, the first look at this Yoga Hour Sequence 2. It's a very challenging sequence. It calls us to stay present, breath by breath. Take your hands out to a T shape, fold the knees over to the right for this supine twist. And then take the knees across the center, lower them to the second side. And back into the middle. Extend your legs. Give yourself just 60 seconds of Shavasana here. 1 minute, stillness, rest. You are welcome to stay in that rest a little bit longer. For those needing to move right into the next piece of the day, come on back up to a seated position. As you sit, fold the palms together, thumbs to the sternum, bow in gratitude. Gratitude for this time on the yoga mat, for fitness, for health and wellness for yourself. That is the healing. Bow in gratitude to those gathered together for this practice, and indeed for yoga itself. Namaste.